when he's trying to steal your money out your check, say he's got to do this and he's got to do that. Well, this is the employee's account numbers. If you guessed it, that it's your social security number is an account number. That's what this is talking. This is what this is talking about. And let me go and read it. I'm going to read through this. I might skip a few sections. Try to cover what applies to most people. So here we go. 26 CFR 31.6011B-2 employees account numbers. Requirement of application in general. I'm skipping number 1 because that's before 1962 and may not apply to most people right now. But here we go. 2. On or after November 1st, 1962, every employee who on any day after October 31st, 1962, is in employment for wages which are subject to the taxes imposed by the Federal Insurance Contribution Act, or which are subject to the withholding of income tax from wages under Section 3402, but who prior to such day has neither secured an account number nor made application therefore, shall make an application on Form SS5 for an account number. So, what's an account? Yeah, they call it an account number. And they also said Federal Insurance Contribution Act. That's FICA. That's that person. Mute your mic, everyone. I know what I'm gonna do. I will do it. All right, if y'all can mute your mic. Thank you. It's got it. All right, sorry about that. All right, let's look at what Wikipedia says about the Federal Insurance Act. It says the Federal Insurance Contribution Act is a United States federal payroll or employment contribution directed towards both employees and employers to fund Social Security and Medicare. Federal programs that provide benefits for retirees, people with disabilities, and children of deceased workers. So FICA is for retirement, people with disabilities, and children of deceased workers. Okay, so it's not just for retirement. So you might know someone or you might have someone in your home that is disabled. And that's what that money is funding, right? And they said it's a contribution. So what's the definition of a contribution? Okay, because, when I think of contribution, it's a gift or payment to common fund or collection. Donation, here's the synonyms. Is my screen big enough? I'll make it a little bigger. Donation, gift, offering, present, handout, grant, subsidy, allowance, endowment, subscription, benefaction. So, by their definition, that FICA is a gift. You're giving a gift to this FICA fund. And it's not mandatory, as they may say. You have to give up this money. You have to give away this money. Like your employer would say, and so many people with street logic would say, because the only knowledge they got is what somebody told them. Like most people on this planet. Their knowledge is hearsay. So that's a contribution. Let's go back. 3, method of application. The application shall be prepared in accordance with the form, instruction, regulations applicable thereto, and shall set forth fully and clearly the data therein called for. The employee shall file the application with the District Office of Social Security Administration, or if the employee is not working within the United States, with the District Office of Social Security Administration at Baltimore, Maryland. Form SS5 may be obtained from any district office of the Social Security Administration or from any district director. An account number will be assigned to the employee for the Social Security Administration in due course upon the basis of information reported on the application required under this section. A card showing the name and account number of the employee to whom an account number has been assigned will be furnished to the employee by the Social Security Administration. So let's break this paragraph down. This sheds a lot of light on what's going on. First of all, the only time you're supposed to even get a Social Security card is when you're getting ready to go to work, because they're telling you to apply for it when you're going for a job. That's when you need it, and it's needed for the FICA fund if you want to give that money to FICA. So basically, if you're reading this correctly, they're saying you really don't need a Social Security card or an account number unless you're ready to give away some money. Yeah, FICA is on everybody's check, Marco. All right. FICA's been robbing y'all. Time for filing Form SS5. The application shall be filed on or before the 7th day after the occurrence of the first day of employment. It's telling you when to fill out an SS5 form. But yet, SS5 forms are filled out for children, babies. Okay. Reference made in paragraph A1 of this section. Unless the employee leaves the employer of his employer before such 7th day, in which case the application shall be filed on or before the date on which the employee leaves the employee of his employer. So it's telling you, if you're going to get a job and you want to give some money away, it needs to be done on or before the 7th day on that job, the first job you get. That's when you go get an account number. That makes sense, right? When you turn of age to go get your own account numbers, you go to the bank, you open up your own account when you're ready to put money in it, right? 3, changes and correction. Any employee may have his account number changed at any time by applying to a district office of the Social Security Administration and showing good reason for a change. With that exception, only one account number will be assigned to an employee. Any employee whose name is changed by marriage or otherwise, or who has stated incorrect information on Form SS5 should report such change or correction to a district office of the Social Security Administration. Copies of the form for making such reports may be obtained from any district office of the administration. So, we have been misled that we need, even when you look at the 1040 and doing a tax return and you have children, they're not even supposed to have an account number yet. But they're wanting to. I think it's if they're over 2 years old, 1 or 2, you have to have a social to put on there to claim them as a dependent, or they won't give it to you. Okay. Duties of employee with respect to his account number. 1. Information to be furnished to employee. An employee shall, on the day on which he enters the employer of an employer for wages, comply with provisions of paragraph B1, 1, 2, 3, or 4 of this section, except that if the employee's services for the employer consist solely of agricultural labor, domestic service in a private home of the employer, not on a farm operated for profit, or service not in the course of the employee's trade or business. The employee shall comply with such provision on the first day on which wages are paid to him by such employer, within the meaning of Section 31.3, 3121A-2. I suggest you guys go and read whenever they refer to a code, go read it. All right? I'm not going to read it because for the sake of time. Because as you can see, these codes are extensive, and a lot of times you have to read it several times to really pick it up. Okay, now, employee who has an account number card. If the employee has been given an account number card by the Social Security Administration and has the card available, the employee shall show it to the employer. Employee who has a number but card not available. If the employee does not have available the account number card issued to him by the Social Security Administration, but knows what his account number is and what his name is, exactly as shown on such card, the employee shall advise the employer of such number and name. Care must be exercised that the employee is correctly advised of such number and name. Employee who has receipt acknowledging application. If the employee does not have an account number card but has available a receipt issued to him by an Office of Social Security Administration acknowledging that an application for an account number has been received, the employee shall show such receipt to the employer. Okay, number 4, employee who is unable to furnish number or receipt. Listen closely. If an employee is unable to comply with the requirement of paragraph B1, 1, 2, or 3 of this section, the employee shall furnish the employee shall furnish to the employer a statement in writing signed by the employee, setting forth the date of the statement, the employee's full name, present address, date and place of birth, father's full name, mother's full name before marriage, and employee's sex, including a statement as to whether the employee has previously filed an application on Form SS5 and, if so, the date and place of such filing. The information required by this subdivision shall be furnished on Form SS5 if a copy of Form SS5 is available. The furnishing such a Form SS5 or other statement, keep in mind they keep saying other statement, by the employee to the employer does not relieve the employee of his obligation to make an application on Form SS5 and file it with District Office of Social Security Administration as required by paragraph A of this section. The foregoing provisions of this subdivision are not applicable to employee engaged exclusively in the performance of domestic service in the private home of his employer, not on a farm operated for profit, or in the performance of agricultural labor. If the services are performed for an employer other than an employer required to file returns of taxes imposed by Federal Insurance Contributions Act with the Office of the United States Internal Revenue Service in Puerto Rico, however, such employee shall advise the employer of his full name and present address. Now, didn't they just showed you that the United States Internal Revenue Service is in where? Puerto Rico. It just showed you that. So, all right. I wanted y'all to pay attention to other statements. So you can give your employer a statement as to why you don't have an account number, aka Social Security number. I could actually draft up a template to help y'all, but there's always going to be one person that's going to not follow directions and lose their job, and they're going to blame it on me. So I'm not touching that. Okay? So there you go. What I suggest, go back and read this over and over and create you a template for yourself. So that you can stop these contributions coming out of your check. All right. So, if you've already signed a contract with these people, you know what? Let's take questions before I go on, because people are right. So, what if I've already have my info? I don't understand what you're saying, Marco.
Hey, peace, Aki. So this is for people that are like maybe starting a new job and they don't have your social security number or anything like that.
You're going into a new job. You're going into a new employment. Pretty much,
so this won't
already in the job. They got your information. You already signed some contracts. I'm gonna go over the W-4 form. So anyway, that you've already filled out. You know, I've done several shows on it, but still people are confused. But I'm gonna go over it and show you how even that W-4 form that you already did is not correct. It's not complete. So you can undo that. You know, it tells you there. When we get there, we'll talk about that. All right. Anybody else got a question? Anybody else? before I move on, keep going. We got some more to read. All right. Okay. 3, furnishing of a where was I? That was okay. Additional information to be furnished by employee to employer. Every employee who, on the day on which he is required to comply with paragraph B1, 2, 3, and 4 of this section has an account number card, but for any reason does not show such card to employer on such day shall promptly thereafter show the card to the employer. An employee who does not have an account number card on such day shall, upon receipt of an account number card from the Social Security Administration, promptly show such card to the employer. If he is still in the employ of that employer, if the employee has left the employ of the employer with the employee receives an account number card from the Social Security Administration, he shall promptly advise the employer of his account number and name exactly as shown on such card. Account number originally assigned to an employee. This is basically telling you, you have to show them that card or tell them what the number is, blah, blah, blah. But we're going to keep reading because we're going to bust that wide open because they're making it like it's mandatory. And I noticed they're not saying Social Security number as we know it to be. They're using it, they keep saying account number card. So that is not a Social Security card. It's an account number card. You've only called it a Social Security card because we have been programmed to believe that. That's it. All right. Let's keep going. I'm going to skip down to okay, let's go to 3. Account number unknown, return is filed. In any case in which the employee's account number is for any reason unknown to the employer at the time of the employee's return is filed, or any return period with respect to which the employer is required to report the wages paid to such employee. Let's read it. If employee has shown receipt for application, if the employee has shown to the employer as provided in paragraph B13 of this section, a receipt issued to him by the Office of Social Security Administration acknowledging that an application for an account number has been received from the employee, the employer shall enter on the return with the entry with respect to the employee, the name and address of the employee exactly as shown on the receipt, the expiration date of the receipt, and the address of the issuing office. So he could just show his receipt if he goes get his account number. If employee furnished Form SS5 or statement, see they keep saying statement. If the employee has furnished information to the employer as provided in paragraph B1, 4 of this section, the employer shall prepare a copy of the Form SS5 or statement furnished by the employee and attach a copy to the return.
When you've got a lot on your plate, you're fine.
Just give them a statement. And that statement could say, I'm not responsible for U.S. tax returns. I'm not responsible for contributing to FICA. And it could be for religious reasons. See, they keep saying or statement. But see, they're not elaborating on what kind of statement. They're not giving you details on what the statement you can say. So that's subject to interpretation. So they can't penalize you for writing a statement out because you're compliant. You're giving them a statement. And that statement can say whatever you wanted to say. Of course, you wanted something to say in line with something that benefits you. If employee did not furnish receipt, form, SF5, or statement, they always put that statement at the end. If neither paragraph C3(1) nor 2 of this section is applicable, the employer shall accept as provided in paragraph C4 of this section, attached to the return a form SS5 or statement signed by the employer setting forth as fully and clearly as practicable the employee's full name, his present or last known address, date or place of birth, father's full name, mother's full name before marriage, the employee's sex, and a statement as to whether an application for an account number has previously been filed by the employee. So it's asking for a statement. Did you file one? I said, no, I didn't file one. It's against my religion. I'm just giving y'all an idea. And if so, the date and place of such filing. The employer shall also insert in such form SS5 or statement an explanation of why he has not secured from the employee the information referred. In paragraph B14 of this section, it shall insert the word employer. These are instructions as part of his signature. Now let's skip all the way down to 6 prospective employees. While not mandatory, while not mandatory, it is suggested that the employer advise any prospective employee who does not have an account number of the requirements of paragraphs A, B of this section. So they're telling you that the employee is just forcing you to give them a number is false. It's not mandatory. You don't have to give them because they gave them alternatives on giving up that number. And here it is. File returns, taxes imposed by federal with the Office of the United States Revenue Service in Puerto Rico. So all of these employers are filing returns in Puerto Rico with your wages. All right. Any questions before I go on to the next topic or the next section? Speak now or forever hold your peace. Y'all want that template. Y'all can't wait for that, huh? All right. Now, I gave you an idea on how to, if you got a job, you're going to get a new job.
Sometimes we allow societal ideologies to keep us in situations we really shouldn't be in, that we need to walk away. Because the one thing that you don't get back is that time you spent there in that space. You don't get that back because all you have is now. Now is the time to do decisions. Now is the time to enjoy your life. Now is the time to level up wherever you want to go. Now is the time. It's not tomorrow. It's not yesterday. It is right now. And if there's something in your way, and you know, most of us know what it is, but we don't want to do it about it. One of the most difficult things that we find is not accepting people as they are and how they present themselves to us. We sometimes tend to accept people with the idea of how you want them to be and hope that they'll match that. They should already be where you in that space. Peace. What's up? Thanks for Truth Tuesday show. First show of the new year. The first, was it? Is it? Did I do a show last Tuesday? I don't remember. These days are whizzing by. We're 7 days in already. New year 2025. Getting off to a great start. I only see one thumbs up. If you like the show, please press the thumbs up. Thank you. And like and share. Hope you enjoyed that intro video that I showed. That was the IRS webinar 2. If you've never seen it before, talks about the IRS and what's going on. What's really going on with the IRS? What's really going on with you making your employer a withholding agent for you? That's right. You designate your employer as a withholding agent when you fill out that W-4 form. And unbeknownst to you, it is actually voluntary. Not mandatory the way they make you fill it out. The reason why the employer wants you to fill that form out is simply so that they can profit off of taking your money, holding it for 1 year, investing your money in various ventures, that they have going on. See, they're not only profiting off of selling products or whatever their business is, they're profiting off the employees. Because if you, I went over those numbers yesterday, right? I went over those numbers, kind of went over like it's in the trillion, over $1 trillion in IRS revenue that's being taken from the American public every time they get paid. And the other kicker is they get to hold that money for a whole year before they give it to the IRS. So they get to do whatever they want. Put it in a nice interest-bearing account, compound interest-bearing account. Whatever, they get to make money off of you allowing them to take your money. And you get no share of that. You get none. It's the same thing with 401ks. You put money in a 401k, they get to invest that, but they penalize you if you take it out early. You're actually lending these people your money to make billions of dollars, trillions of dollars off of your labor, and you get nothing from it other than you get what you put in after you retire, and you risk it because if it's tied to the stock market, you could lose all of your retirement. But they're not losing. You know, the more and more I talk about that, like, it's like, wow, we really are suckers. We're being suckered. And so many people are willingly complying because they are afraid of the possible outcomes of questioning the system. Complicit in our own slavery. Wow. You know, when you really think about how powerful of influence they have over people's minds. I come in, I could read those laws and break it down and show them, and people, wow. And I remember my father saying, you know, what you gonna do if they come after you? He's basically saying it's like being on a plantation, and you know, you got some of the people talking about a revolt or getting off the plantation, then the others say, oh, what you gonna do? Your master gonna come get you. Better stop talking about that. You know what's wrong. You know you're being treated wrong. You're being treated unfair. But the fear of the consequence of what man can do hold on. Matthew 10:28 says, don't be afraid of those who want to kill your body. They cannot touch your soul. Fear only God, who can destroy both soul and body in hell. But most of these people that have fear of the consequences, they call themselves religious. Anytime you question anything that the mainstream or is supposed to be the norm, you're gonna meet opposition. That's why it's very crucial to really know the rules. See, it's one thing to oppose a system and you don't know the rules, because now when you don't know the rules, you don't know how to navigate. That's why you got to watch out what groups you get involved, because they're teaching you all these wild rules. And then when trouble comes, none of those people that taught you that is going to be there to help you. I'm here. People, call me. You can get in touch with me. Get a consultation with me, and I can help. There's not much I haven't dealt with. Not much. You know, I titled the show, "They Stealing My Stuff." So again, I got an email of someone who purchased from a certain site my IRS webinar. And then they contacted me asking me for some information on it. You see, I'll read the email if I didn't delete it. So on the 5th, I purchased the IRS webinar from Jonah Bay, which I see you giving the seminar on the IRS tax webinar. During the webinar, you were going through your letter to IRS and was unable to find the 26 USC section 7701B12A1. I was wondering if you were able to find this code. I've been unsuccessful in finding this code and any other code to tie the Secretary of the Treasury of Puerto Rico. I was wondering if this letter from 2014 is still valid today. So he bought the very first webinar. He did not know that I created a few more after that, several more after that, just to keep the information updated. Although, IRS webinar 1 will still get you the same results as any other new ones. But, I tweaked some of the letters and add some constitutional statements. And, I like to keep things relevant or up to date. So I responded back. And he ended up purchasing it. He came to my website and came to the source and bought it. So it actually brought me some business. Excuse me. I feel like I want to sneeze. And we had a good conversation about that. So that led me just to kind of peruse other places. And all of a sudden, everybody's teaching people how to set up churches. Recoupment. This is why I have something really good news this year. Excuse me. Man, I feel like the sneeze won't come. It's like it's on the edge. I did a process. I did something else. And I'm almost completing it. Excuse me. There you go. It came out. So I got at the state level, I got it completed. Then on the next level, I got to take care of it on the Fed level. But I'm not gonna say exactly what it is just yet. It's only me and one other person even know that I did it or what I did. So this is why I teach in private membership. Because come to the membership and you'll get the exclusive information, the hands-on stuff, and you get to see into the world of Hindsight University. I realize there's other people who got their setups of teachings, but guess what? Somehow they go to these other places, they always end up right here to get full answers, meaning they get complete answers, stuff that makes sense. But like another one's coming. All of a sudden my nose is irritated. All right, there we go. So, but that's what happens. It's flattery. And to me, it's flattering because I came into this information in 2014. It's like when I first started to learn about this. Like it was like a whole new world for me. Like when I looked at videos, I was like, wow. But I knew at the core there was some freedom in me understanding this information. Then I came across people, and on this walk, on this journey. And I'm thankful for those connections because it leads me to where I am right now. So I can't totally, these people, this, that, and the other. I won't do that because then that would actually kind of throw shade on what I'm doing now, right? Although some of the teachers were not true, they didn't get any results. At the time, I really believed him and had faith in him. And that's when I realized I had to have faith in myself and my faith in my own studies of this stuff and not take people's word for it. What I'm thankful for, that they pointed me in the direction. They put me into the, it's like playing, you're looking for something and somebody's saying you're hot, and you're cold, you're lukewarm. They put me in places like a lukewarm space, and some places was very cold, and some places I was close to being hot. And then by putting me in that space, it helped me look closer at everything. And really pick it apart and say, well, we could do this. We don't need to do this. Like, for instance, one of the big things that which was very big, was the birth certificate authentication. That was big. I did it all. I got, several copies of my birth certificate authenticated. Sent it off and then put the affidavit of ownership with it, all of that. I got them, but they never did anything for me. Absolutely zero. So if you're new and you're listening to me, I'm going to tell you, authenticating your birth certificate is just, you just paid the money to authenticate it. It's not going to do anything for you, for real. Other than you just got it authenticated. And I'm going to tell you why it's not going to do anything, because it's not meant to do anything for you. Because all you're doing is authenticating their record. Akeem, you teaching something different now. I am. I after careful consideration and study and ponder and meditation, I realized that who created the birth certificate? The county did. The county where you were born, they sent off and had that created. Because the only person that can authenticate that birth certificate is the person at the county where it was created. And if you live in a state where, like New York, where you have to get exemplification, first you got to get, authenticated on the county level, then you got to go to the state level, then you go to the Fed to do the authentication. You just solidified their position for them. You paid to authenticate their bond on the name. Well, that's mine. That's my account. No, it's not your account. It's their account. That's why every time everybody try to get in there, they chop their hand off. Every time somebody try to get in that cookie jar, they cut it off. It's the Federal Reserve's account. That's how they're creating money and keeping money in circulation through those birth certificate bonds. That's how they need those to create money off it. That's why they have a reserve of 10 accounts per birth certificate. Because every time you say you lost one, they're going to send you another card, Social Security card with that name on it. And you see? And when you authenticate or apostille something, what is it usually used for? It's used for you to show your nationality, your true origin of where you come from to another country. They're not going to take you just walking up to the birth certificate from the county into another country. They want you to have it fully authenticated at the federal level before they consider that an authentic document. And which you're proving, hey, you come from the U.S. citizen side. When you show them that, that's the U.S. citizen document you show. Although that birth certificate, you can only get it in the county you were born in. It's still a document that shows the origin of that entity, which is in one of the 50 states, which is sovereign and foreign to the United States. Follow slow. Y'all might want to get out y'all recorder right now. Y'all might, or go back and watch the TV, watch the show again, and you might. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to go get all of your friends that listen to other people and really want to, they need to believe, because what I'm about to break down to you in a few minutes is all gonna come together. Because see, they can't steal what I'm about to say. But I guarantee you, once I say it, all of them on these other groups are going to start doing it. And I don't care if they do it. Once I say what I'm about to say, and I've said it before, but some of y'all just let it fly over your head. But the spirit is talking now. This ain't Akeem right now about to break this down for you. Now, I'm going to give y'all a minute. If y'all need to get somebody on here to listen, you've been trying to get them to get some good information. And plus, I should have more likes than I got more people watching the show. They throttling y'all down. I know I have more people now. It says 7. I've never had that lower number. Oh, they know I'm about to go in. They just let me kicking people out. They kick it out. Well, hey, who's gonna? I don't even think that number is accurate. I think there's way more people looking. They throttling these numbers down, because I looked up, it was double that. When I first started talking. But anyway, go get your peoples, man. Go get them. And while you go get your people, I'm going to take a short break and I'm come back and I'm going to break this down to you. Why it's a waste of time to authenticate your birth certificate that comes from the county. And I already started down that journey. But once I tie it all together, what you really need to be doing. Let's see. So I'll be right back.
All right, there we go. And acknowledge my right to record proceedings and present my self-assessment in rebuttal to the IRS assessment or proceed to item number 3. Note, even if you verify compliance with item number 1, your failure or refusal to comply with this request, such as a failure to produce a procedurally proper assessment, shall be regarded as direct evidence of violation of 26 U.S.C. section 7214A and will further warrant the commission of compliance with 26 U.S.C. section 7214A, beginning with the termination of both your employment, followed by your prosecution and the commissioner's determination to have no tax due on for the year 2011 to 2013. Now, of course, the year is going to be whatever year you're dealing with. Now, the procedurally proper assessment, whenever they say you're deficient, they're supposed to send you a notice of deficiency and a notice of, there's 2 notices they're supposed to give you. Give me a second. I got it. A notice of determination and a notice of deficiency is supposed to be sent. You never get that. They just send you a letter saying, we assessed you and you owe this. Those are the 2 things that are mandatory that they must send you, which they never do. And that's what leads me, eventually I already have the court procedure. It's just that I'm not doing a webinar on it because everybody's situation is different. And number 2, it's too sensitive. So that would be the court stuff is case-by-case basis on an individual, but it's out there, ready to roll. All right, communicate to me in writing that after further review, you have determined that I have no tax due and owing for me for the years of 2013. If item number 3 is your voluntary act, please sign your determination under penalty of perjury and forward a copy to the commissioner. Now, this is what I added. Pre-trial interrogatories, because why? These letters is what you're going to use when you go to court, because they never answered them.
All right, sorry to interrupt that. I know y'all like, wow, that looks it. But anyway, so what I was saying was authenticating any one of their records to support your sovereignty, to support you being foreign from the United States, support that you're not a U.S. citizen, is not going to work. Because what is it that you need to get a Social Security card? You have to present that document. And these hospitals are run by the state. This is why when you show up in the emergency room, they have to treat you, because it's a state-run hospital. So that's a benefit, right? And they start the process of creating the birth certificate at the hospital. Somebody from the Department of Health and Human Services is there to get you to register your birth certificate at the hospital. Get your mom to be a informant so that they can create the birth certificate. They just give you copies of it so that you can go and create the straw man and conduct commerce as a U.S. citizen. You see? That's the whole purpose of that. So the hospitals, the birthing stations, the hospitals are nothing more than what? Naturalization hubs for the United States. They are natural. What is the 14th Amendment? It says born or naturalized into the United States. You become born into the United States under the 14th Amendment through that initial contact with filling out for a birth certificate. That's where it all starts. Now you've been taught, go back and fix that, because you got to authenticate it and make yourself the owner of that. You are the owner, same as the owner of said certificate. And all you're doing is the said certificate is a certificate showing that child was born into the county and then sacrificed over to the United States, aka bail. Because the moment you created that birth certificate, or that birth certificate was created, they created the birth certificate, you created an entity which is not living, something that is opposite of living, something that is not spiritual. You're supposed to be born of the spirit. How do you become born on the spirit and then record that? I hope y'all got people, because I'm not waiting anymore to say what I'm about to say. So, hey, whoever's here is going to hear. You have to create your own birth record. I wouldn't even say birth certificate. Your own birth record. And get that notarized. Once it's notarized, you take it and get it authenticated up in the state level, then get it authenticated on the federal level. Now you have your official birth record, and you could do this as an adult. All you need is a couple of witnesses, get them to get that notarized, and then go and have that that authenticated at the state level. I'm purposely leaving out a specific step that must be done after you get it notarized. I'm purposely leaving it out because if people who's smart enough, they'll get it. Only when I talk to my members, I break it down to them. There's one step, very important step, because you'll meet trouble if you don't understand this one step. But all I'm saying is create your own birth record that came from your jurisdiction. Because the passport application been telling us the whole time that they will take your documents. People have tried to do it, but they didn't do it correctly, and I know why. The ones that tried to do that, there was key things missing. Get your birth record notarized. Go get it authenticated on the state level. And I'm actually leaving out a key piece of information. That you'll never get past. You'll never get to the state level of getting it authenticated if you don't do something key or say some specific words. And I'm leaving them out. I'm definitely leaving them out because this is public. You got to be in my membership to hear this. But once you take it to the Fed level, then you go apply for your passport with that document and not theirs. Now you're truly applying for your passport as someone foreign to the United States. Because now, once you get your passport that way, you go get that record authenticated. Because then when they look at it, they're not looking at a U.S. citizen piece of a document like a birth certificate. They're looking at your stuff, and that's all part of your record. Well, Hakeem, how do I know that works? How do I know that's going to work? It has no choice but to work, because after it's authenticated on the Fed level, that is considered evidence. Because when you get something authenticated, they put the laws of evidence on the authenticated document. This is my authenticated birth certificate. That light is blind. See, authenticated birth certificate. This is what you're gonna get. This is when John Kerry was in office. He actually got his signature on it, right? And then affidavit of ownership from back in the day. Affidavit of ownership. I did all that stuff. But on this here, you let the light get it. You see those laws? All those laws on there? All those laws are the rules of evidence. Showing you that issue pursuant to the rules of evidence. So once that certificate is attached to whatever you give them, it's considered and authenticated. It's considered as if it's the original. Whatever you do. But you're going to give them your birth record that you created under your jurisdiction. I would pull out the DS11 and read the rules again, but I let the thieves figure it out for themselves and go read where it says on that application what you're supposed to do. I let them figure it out. You see? Now you got that. You go submit everything you're submitting and going to get, even the driver's license. You hand them those documents. Now they can't say, well, he gave me an authenticated, because I never forget the lady that did, oh, you got a birth certificate. You are U.S. citizen because you got a birth certificate. And then I realized that's how they see it. And technically, she was right. Because I didn't create that. They did. My mom didn't create it. She filled out and applied and became the informant. Now keep that in mind. Somebody asked me how they get into my membership. Let me find them the link. Oh. Trying to find you the correct link, my brother. All right, give me 1 second. I will get you coaching courses. Pricing. All right, I'm about to put it in the chat for you, my brother. There it is. Yeah. I mean, it's not just, so back to what I was saying. So you submit that and you get your passport with your documents. Now you have no ties to that U.S. citizen name that they created. You gave them all of your documents that's fully authenticated all the way up. And they have to accept them. Why? See, when people were doing it before, they weren't fully authenticating their stuff that they created. So they won't take it. See, a foreign country is not going to take a state's authentication. It needs that federal connection. Because that's where they got the agreements. That's where they have the treaties. This is what we're going to accept as authenticate. So if I go to school and they want an official transplant, I got to get all that stuff notarized and authenticated. They want to see. I can't just go to school and say, here's my credentials. No, they want authenticated documents. Or apostille, one or the other. Apostille, however you want to pronounce that. Are you getting me? See, what took me down this road, I had two people who got married last year and gave me the honor of doing the ceremony. And what I did was we created their marriage statements. The time, had it notarized, and both of them have gotten their stuff authenticated. One went all the way to the fed level, and one just went as far as the state so far. Got it notarized and got the notary. I ain't gonna. Let's just say this: their stuff is authenticated. See, we were living under the illusion that we have to get their stuff to prove our existence. But see, you existed before their stuff. That's why you must use that Bible is the key. Your religious affiliations is the key to your freedom. But man, what has happened, people have thrown away their spiritual traditions and accepted man's traditions. That's true. That is a religion. Governmental control is a religion. Educational control is a religion. Religious control is a religion. They're all religion. But the key word is control. So that is the ultimate religion, control. That is the religion that brings forth all of these other things. These other, what we call schools and politics and government. Control. It's all about control. That's why when you go out of the house, there's a camera standing in your face everywhere. Control. You go to work. We need to take some of your money to pay this and give it away to these people that didn't help you do the job. And they have you thinking everything is mandatory. Control. They control you with information by teaching you a certain way that benefits what they want to control. Control. Everything's about control. So if everything is about control, you have to sit down and figure out what you can control that will make your life easier instead of allowing them to tell you or control you and make your life harder. You're welcome, brother. Oh, I bolden. Sister. Sister, you mean? That's a sister? Oh. Gotta. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I couldn't see the image. I am so sorry. So we got Imperial Freight Peace. DJ B Thunder says, evening of everyone. Peace, love, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. I said peace, and I'll add in peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Indy Sir, peace, my brother, taking a break from the plumbing. LOL. I know it's cold out there. DJ B Thunder said he's trying to get off the plantation. Been there for 28 years. It ain't easy. Found you late night, but at least I found the information. In La Vida, peace. A White said, peace, brother. Peace back to you. And he says, salute. Fire everyone. Hit the like. Yes, thank you for telling people that. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all and to the house of Yanez. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth. Yeah, man, what's going on? You keep moving those appointments on me. Those scheduled consultations, you moved it to Friday. And La Vida said, thank you, son of the one true king. Peace to all, warrior. I have birth of the lie for all of ours written in the Bible. Use that for passport app. I still need to authenticate Bible record though. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes. It's 8:04. I think I said enough of where you need to go with your documents. And I'm saying you can create one for yourself now. I don't care how old you are. You can create one and get it authenticated. You see? Yes, yes, yes. All right, well, I'm getting off. I think I broke it down. You got to create your own documents. And you know what's funny about that is like people were creating their own documents when I first started this, and they were on the right track, but they was lost because they had so many convoluted teachings they couldn't see it. Now when I look back on it, that was the road, that was the clues that I was getting early on in the process. I saw people make their own IDs and get on a plane. Now with those IDs, they had to go through those extra checks, like they had to, do the full body search. But if you are able to get your when you get your passport the way I just said, with your documents, you don't need to worry about that. You see? All right, akemail.com. Yes, go also. Get on my email list if you're not. I'm gonna send it out again. I am holding little workshops periodically throughout the week. You can pick the time you want to join. It's 10 people per session. So one time, only 10 people will be in one session. So just be mindful of that. Showing you how to fill out y'all 1099s correctly. It's tax season. You got to get them out before the deadline. All right. With that being said, peace, prosperity, extreme wealth. Remember to go get on my email list. I send emails out with important information. I'm getting a lot more regular than I used to be. All right. Peace.